I was just live for like 3 minutes and nobody came on, and I was like, something's wrong. So I checked, and my team had posted some stuff on my feed but made it private. So my Facebook Live was private. I was like, something is seriously wrong. I've never been on a Facebook Live for 3 minutes and had nobody hop on. Okay, let me just double check, make sure it's good now. And let me share it into the group now. That was really funny. Hello. Okay, yeah, we're live, official now. Okay, I shared it. Oh, that was so bizarre. I just, that was so bizarre. Okay, now we're here, we're on, today's one of those days that like the whole day was wide open. I didn't really have anything that I had to do today. Basically everything's, well, of course there's always a million tasks to do for the company, but I don't let it have 24/7 access to me. So it was just like a wide open day. And then I happened to just have one of my coaches had a training today that I wasn't actually even remembering that she had. And then I had this huge breakthrough that just, I mean, I'm sort of still reveling in it, but I figured I'd pop on because if it is changing my life this much, I know it's going to serve you guys too. So I knew it was, it's the thing when I just started bawling. Like the second I tried on what she was saying, I said, at first I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like what's different between this and what I already do? And then I knew it was the thing because I started bawling. So if you're on the replay, let's do hashtag vulnerable, because that's what this is. It's like being vulnerable for ourselves. And I'm just about to say all the shit right now. So do I need to keep giving warnings? Maybe those of you who are new to me, you don't really know that I just say all the things without any sort of filter whatsoever. And if you're part of my community, please say hello to me. Let me know if you're here, and then let me know how you're feeling about what I have to say. So let me see if I can, this is like brand new for me that it's so mind blowing. Okay, so I've always been really good at reaching my goals, right? Like I set a goal and I show up for it. I enjoy the process. Like I focus on the process and really like locking in how it feels to do the process, like how it feels to be sweating, running in the morning while I'm on a call with my team, and like I'm getting both things done, and that just feels savvy and really good. And I really lock into the feeling of how it feels, right? So that has served me tremendously. It's something I teach all my clients. It helps my clients shift and reach their goals. Like it's been really, really powerful. But this new thing, right? This is what I said to my coach on the training. I said, I've reached all of my life goals and I'm having a little trouble this time getting clear what that next one is. Like, of course I have all these visions and all these goals, but there's something missing. There was like a piece missing to it for the first time. For the first time, it really felt like there was a piece missing. And I know in my life, like just sort of, okay, track with me for a second, because I really think this is going to really, really change things for you. I think this is going to fast track things for you. If I just step back and take a look at my life, for those of you, if you've been tracking with me, let me know in the comments. 4 years ago, I was a mom on welfare. And I started as a health coach, and hi, Beth. Okay, good. Comments are coming through. Who else is here? Say hi to me. I'm vulnerable, so you got to say hi to me so I know I'm not alone. So I want to say this concisely because I don't want to take up too much time on this, but it's important. So if I look back at my life, it's like, oh, yeah, like she grew up with all this trauma and, religious, scary stuff. Like basically grew up in a world where I thought I was going to get my head chopped off and, and suicide and sexual assault and all this crazy stuff. And then, in the Marine Corps, it was kind of even worse. And then I got pregnant, and then I got cheated on by the dad. And then I didn't get the child support. He was like hiding some of the money. And then I was a single mom, and then I was on welfare. And then I grew up in the welfare system. And then I was waitressing, and I was a nanny so I could take my kids with me. And then I was in a pretty toxic relationship where I was always having to use all of my resources for the person. Hi, Samantha. Hi, Colleen. Oh, thanks for saying hi. And if I look back, I look at my life, I'm like, okay, I remember when I figured out that I wasn't stupid. I remember when I first started going to school and being like, oh, I could do school and I got good grades. And I remember when I started learning about not playing the victim and allowing myself to when am I going to stop using the story of my past as an excuse for everything, good and bad. I remember when I started setting boundaries, when I stopped letting people have 24/7 access to me, when I started learning I didn't have to rescue everybody. And so just looking back, I remember when I started challenging challenging the story that money was bad, and I bought my first Chanel bag, and I took my first class flight. I remember walking into the Chanel store feeling like I could so still embody the like, I'm a fat white trash welfare girl. I could so like still embody that. Like, I don't know why that was always the thing. That was just like the feeling, the energy of it, no matter what I looked like or felt like or whatever the circumstances were, it's like what I felt like. And I remember that like battle inside of me trying to be like just a worthy girl. Like, this is just a store. It's just some leather. It's just like some metal on leather. Like, it doesn't freaking matter. And this is just a seat that you sit in on an airplane. Nobody's going to kick you out because you're Mandy and you don't belong here. And I just remember going through all these phases and these awakenings and these realizations. And recently it's been more of such an awakening in my company of like, this isn't like, it's so amazing to have a passion and let it be like, this gets to be my life. But that doesn't really, like, at the end of the day, that's not it. For me, it's really like, how can I create more value? How can I serve more? And it's been a realization that the way I can serve more is by being even more transparent and more vulnerable. But I didn't know how to do that. And so there was this block moving forward, like, okay, now my son and I crawled through hell together. Like, oh my God, I got him to graduate. He went through a bunch of trauma too. Like, we got here, like, holy crap, he graduated, he moved back home. He's like doing life. And that was a big, like, holy, like the weight of every day, just like holding space for him in my home, that being cleared up, I was just like, oh, I felt like an astronaut, like floating around in space. Like, my daughter's pretty easy. She's my clone. I know how to handle her. And like, everything in life's pretty good. And it just was like, oh, now what? And today, everything sort of just like, just opened between, I'm in the Platinum Partnership. So like, but between a summit that I did for them and then this training I was just on with one of my coaches, it was like all the pieces just came together and this was it. I desire to show up and serve and create massive value on the planet. But it was kind of a block on like, but how do I actually do that? Like, I'm already being as vulnerable as I can. I don't know how to be any more vulnerable in this. Like, what else do I share? And then it was like, okay, I need a new grander vision because I've reached all my goals. Like, life is exactly what I pictured it to be like. I can't believe it's this. Like, I can't believe I'm here and it's like this. Like, my life is amazing. And then it was like, what? And it was just really this kind of scary, empty, alone, lonely feeling. And I wasn't sure what was wrong. And this was it. Are you ready? I feel like the people who are ready for this is going to change everything for you. And for others, you're going to be like me yesterday. And it's going to go right over. Because honestly, I had to ask a few questions even today for me to really get this. It was about how I want to feel projected into the future. It's so basic and so simple. So I'm going to give you the rawest example, the thing that made me start bawling. So I turned 40 in September. Now I have the romance that I desire. I have the fun that I desire. I have the company that I desire. The team feels organized. I feel super supported. I love my brand. I love the community of people that I'm creating in the Daily Raw Facebook group and in my paid programs and my private clients. And I love my relationship with my kids. My son is doing amazing. Like, it's just, you know, I don't even know. I know my beliefs. So I know what I stand for. I know all of this. But yet I still had this nagging loneliness or something feeling. And as soon as I thought of, like, I was starting to get this, how do I serve deeper in who I am? And how do I get clear what my next vision is so that I feel lit up and excited about it again? I knew I was like, I had like what I always had, but that wasn't working this time. Like, this time at this level for me, or at this season of my life, or at this place, or at this level of thriving maybe, and getting so far away from survival. Or maybe I feel like I released the last pieces of true survival that were going on in my life. And I think that was attached with my son. It was like, I started bawling because I thought, I've never really celebrated my birthdays. And I've always sort of thought, well, you know, that's just the way it is. Like, you didn't grow up in the kind of family where, you know, like, I was really sheltered. I was really isolated. I wasn't really allowed to go make friends. I was only allowed to hang out with the people at church. And like, I had two best friends that were like my whole entire life. I used to sneak out in the middle of the night just to go see them and just like literally talk about life. Like, we weren't even doing anything else. And, you know, and then it was a lot of trauma. And then I got kids when I was really young. And then it was like putting my head down. It was such a focus on like, you know, take care of my kids and make sure they don't grow up and stand in these welfare lines like me. And then it was like my family, and then realizing, whoa, money doesn't fix everything. And it's just been such a like, put your head down and like, get us here. And basically, I didn't realize it until it happened, but basically it was like, make sure Calvin's okay. Make sure Calvin's okay. Like, that was such a huge part of it. And so along the way, I didn't really learn how to make friends. Like, not really. Like, I didn't really learn how to be a good friend. I didn't learn how to do, like, celebrate my friend because she's going through this thing, or like be there for her in this really big way. And I've learned how to be a powerful coach. I've learned how to be a powerful leader in my company. I've learned how to be the kind of mom that I want to be, but I never really learned how to be the kind of friend that I wanted to be, or learn how to make friends. So I'm blessed to have these friends that I have in these, masterminds and these powerful circles that I'm in, but I still don't really know how to make friends, right? And like, I was so tempted to judge myself about that, or like be embarrassed about that, right? Like who doesn't know how to make friends, Mandy? Like, I don't want the world to know that I don't know how to make friends or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And honestly, I watched that sort of get passed down to my children. Like, I watched my son had to go to his dad's every weekend, so he wasn't home making friends with his friends. And like, I didn't make friends with his friends, like his school parents, like the parents at school or whatever. So he didn't get to make friends through the parents. And then like, I never hung out with like cousins or stuff like that. So it just kind of was the life, but it was something that always caused me deep, deep pain. Like, I didn't want that to be what I passed down to my children, but I didn't know how to do any better. And I remember the day I felt so much relief just admitting that to them. Like, I don't know how to teach you this. I can teach you so many things. This is where, like, this is what I'm good at. This is what you come to me for, but this one I don't know how to teach you. This is one you're going to have to figure out. And I'm already, like, I already know that ahead of time. And even when I'm doing my best, I don't know how to do this one for you. And so like, I'm on this training and I'm asking her like, okay, but what are the tips to getting really clear what that next level vision is when you've reached everything? Like, when life feels like it couldn't get any better, how then? And it's like, it was so obvious that I was avoiding the feelings of the things that mean the most to me. The things that cause the most pain, right? Like, it is really painful. Just let me know if you experience this. Like, it feels really painful, especially as an online entrepreneur, if you feel like you don't know how to make friends. Like, really make friends, not acquaintances and we high five and celebrate each other, but like the real kind of friends that celebrate each other, that tell each other the dirt, that kind of stuff. And I'm so blessed to have the couple friends that I have. But even with those friends, I have apologized to them and said straight to their face, I don't know how, like, I feel like a bad friend, and thank you for always being the one that reaches out. Thank you for being the one that makes the plans. Thank you for whatever. And so I knew the second I said it. So what she was teaching me, right, was to lock into how I want to feel. And the second she said that, there was like this whoosh of like, I already knew. I had already put it on my vision board. Like, I want to meet local, because I just moved here to Florida a year ago. I haven't met like local people here that I've become close friends with. And there's still just this nagging voice in my head that like, I don't know how to do that. No matter what circle I'm in, it always feels like I'm the weird person that stands out. Even when I was on the summit the other day, I was like the weird girl that was eating on the Zoom when, nobody else was, and that kind of stuff. So like, it's like I always do the weird thing. I'm always the person that kind of stands out a little bit. And hi, Amy. And that's been a source of pain for me. Do you know what I mean? So, okay. So then in that moment, it was like, oh, we're incredible human beings, and we will call in things that feel safe to call in. Even, I don't care. My vision board has private jets on it, and it's like, there's no part of me that's like, you're never going to own a private jet, right? There's a part of me that's like, maybe I won't want a private jet. Maybe that won't really be important enough for me to do what it takes to have it. But if I want a private jet, I'll have a private jet. That seems easy to me. Like, it seems doable. It seems completely likely. It seems like it's going to be an option for me. And I have a million things on there that feel like very, very likely to me. I don't feel resistance to those. And it's funny how, even though I teach this, what I noticed was there was things on there that I didn't put a celebration for my 40th birthday. And it is vulnerable as fuck to say that online right now, but this is what I teach, right? Like, looking at so I could judge myself, and I could criticize myself, and I could hide it, and I could sort of pretend that that's not the way it is because that's what's cool. And like, I don't want to be the weird girl who, admits this kind of stuff, but then I'm never going to have it. And I know, right? Viktor Frankl, I learned this from Viktor Frankl. If you have this really like, I don't fear public speaking. I will pop on a stage with 10,000 people, all of like every epic level, and I will speak and I will share, because my attitude is just kind of like, I'm here to serve and give everything I have. If it doesn't serve you, no harm done, right? Like, I don't put any pressure on myself. I give what I have to give. And so, but with something like this, it's completely different, right? Like, oh, but I have social anxiety. I have like, even like the idea of dating a man who like creates like the surprise party for me, or like a vacation, like just like I have a surprise vacation for something like that, right? So it's like, but I have social anxiety and I'll be the weird person. Like I remember with my ex, we went to Italy and we were sitting there, he had to go to the bathroom and I was like, yeah, it's good. But he went and I started panicking because I was all by myself in another country and I started crying. He came back and I'm like crying and he was like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. It's like, these are the weird things about me that I don't like to acknowledge, that I feel like those are the weird things that I don't really like how they feel. But when I told myself the truth of like, how is it that you want things to feel in the future, which is a subtle distinction, but such a big distinction, I instantly was like, oh, well, I have a 40th birthday coming up that I feel like I'm not gonna have any friends to invite to. You know what I mean? And like, okay, that's what it is. Viktor Frankl said, just say the thing out loud. When you say the thing out loud, then it stops being like this dark secret. And then you just get to own the thing. And then you get to have the thing in your life. So I thought, well, what the fuck am I doing? There's these real, actual, tangible things in my life that I really do desire to have that I've been too chicken shit to acknowledge face. Or I still had this old story that I'm not important enough for those things to matter. You know what I mean? It's like, all the work I've done to clear that I'm worthy to have the money, that I'm worthy to have the life, that I'm worthy to have the freedom, the space, the expansion, to know how to do it, to have the powerful leaders supporting me and doing life with them and all these kind of things. But yet I didn't want to acknowledge this little dark area over here that was telling me like, you're not good enough to have real friends though, and to like celebrate and to have a birthday party and these kind of things. And even acknowledging it is like, like whatever is going to take for that to all get cleaned up. I feel like I'm exhausted already. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to look at it, but I already know. I know how to do this. I just haven't applied it to some other particular areas of my life. Like the kind of man who will, pay for me or pay for himself even just for us both to go on vacation, but surprise me with that. And then I feel safe with him. Like, okay, I've been through a lot of trauma. My body has some memories that I can't really control still. And sometimes I cry in public. Sometimes I look like a deer in the headlights, like, and that means PTSD has kicked in and it's a little bit weird and I know that, but that's what it is. And so if I'm going to be in public or traveling somewhere, I kind of need to, I need to be babied just a tiny bit. I mean, that's what the fuck it is. And why can't that just be good enough? And why can't I believe that I can find a man who would be kind and gentle and loving that way and make sure that I feel safe while I'm doing that so that I can experience what I want to experience? And why can't I believe that I'm worthy to have the kind of friends that we get together for our 40th birthday and that I can dare to dream for that? And let's say worst case scenario, I didn't really figure out or learn how to do that before my 40th birthday and that came and went and I was like, oh, like I still don't really know how to do this. I bet I'll figure it out by my 41st. Right? Big celebration for your 41st. No, 40th. September 12th, I turned 40. Not 41 yet. I'm still calibrating to 40. Do you know what I mean? So the big realization that I had that helped me to see the sneaky stuff that was still there, which is why we have mentors, right? This is why I'll never do this by myself. I wouldn't have figured this out by myself. So the sneaky thing that was there was like, but what are the things you want to feel in the future? And when I felt this like exhale of like, there was like this guarded wall here, or like this, you're not allowed to go there, or this stuff doesn't get to be important, or whatever it was. I haven't done the work to figure out what that wall was. I don't even know that the wall matters. But I felt this like exhale and this like, that thing right here. I'm like, but I don't want to say that out loud. I don't want to say that out loud. I'm going to lose credibility or people are going to think I'm weird or I don't know what they're like. I just don't want to say that out loud. I don't want to be that girl. I don't even want to acknowledge it to myself, let alone acknowledge it to the world. But it's like, what did I just say earlier? I said, my intention is to really wake up every day and drop deeply into how can I serve and give more value? Not the vision of how can I create this life where I'm feet up on the beach and I'm, doing nothing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's nice, but that's a byproduct. That just happens. That just happens on its fucking own. And I know that shit just happens. Look where I am. Like this just happens when you stop blocking it. It's more, I deeply desire to see how I can actually show up and create value and serve and really, really give to the universe, give to the world, give to my clients, give to the people around me in my life. And what I've come to realize through all the current events recently was my most powerful way of doing that is to be super transparent and honest. And it was like all came together in that moment and I was like, fuck, I have to tell the world this. And it wasn't I have to. It was just you get to, and you don't have to feel ashamed about that, Mandy, because if I'm feeling it, so many other people are feeling it too. And that's just the way it is. And it makes sense to me, right? Like, that's why I got to just pull that dial back and stop looking at it super close where I feel uncomfortable and ashamed of it. Pull that dial back and just be like, yeah, this fucking makes sense. You spent your entire life like this, surviving, and then how to take care of the kids, and then how to make sure the kids can have a different life. And then all of a sudden you had this huge exhale with your son leaving, and now it opened up new things, and all of a sudden these things are coming to light for you. Like, that all makes sense to me. And now it gets to be a season in my life where it's like, okay, I have the company, I know how to make the money, I have the brand online, I have all these things in my life that are amazing. I'm learning how to be sensual and be romantic, and I'm learning how to be taken care of on a date, or like having my dinner paid for, which was super huge for me in the beginning, or like all these kind of things. Like, I've calibrated to these things, and I'm open to these things. I'm more open-minded than I've ever been, just allowing the rules to fade away so that I could actually have the experience of life that I desire. It makes sense that the next level I would go to would be deeper relationships with other women in my personal life, friendships, celebrations, actually celebrating marker moments. Like one of my mentors, Mel, she is so good at celebrating the moments, right? Like the markers in your life, like the arrival places. I celebrate them, I dance, I music, but I've never like ordered balloons and champagne and had a party with my team. Like, none of that's ever happened. So it makes sense to me. I can see why this is the perfect timing that this would begin to start opening up in my life. And I just had to have the courage to let it be what it is, which is the one thing I stand for with my clients. I stand for my clients being able to be worthy where they're at, not having to be anywhere better off than where they're at, without any shame or judgment about what it is, and be able to ask the questions and do the things and show up as is, and be able to lead all the things I've walked myself through. So this one, I couldn't lead on this yet. I haven't, this is the one that's just sort of coming to my awareness, and has, become like a longing inside of my heart, and a burning yearning inside of my body, that I yearn to have this. I yearn to like have that level of celebrations and experiences and relationships, and these intentional, like really knowing how to be a good friend to my personal friends in my personal life. And so, since what I call them to do is to do the very thing I'm doing right here, right now, is to not let that thing be a secret that is covered, that causes you shame or embarrassment, or causes you to not show up, or to feel like you can't lead in the areas where you're a motherfucking powerful leader, because this thing over here and this makes you feel shame, and it makes you feel unworthy, so you don't give yourself these things over here. And then if we hide this over here, we're never going to give ourselves these things. Right? Like, I decided to pop on literally dead after I got off that training, wrote myself a couple notes, felt the thing, breathed into it, hopped on this training, because I know the fastest way to get these things I desire is to not let myself feel shame about them, to not be embarrassed that this is the way it is, to not feel like it's something to hide, to not be something that I hide from myself, to really just acknowledge it and feel it, and then give myself permission to enjoy the journey of letting that come to fruition in my life, just like everything else has, just like the romance, just like the money, just like the being the kind of mom I want to be, just like being, in you working out and sweating and fitness, and taking my team calls while I'm sweating, and my client calls first thing in the morning, and the Diamond Mastermind, and traveling, and the retreats around the world, and renting this private villa with me and my clients, and the girls all stay together, and we meditate together, and we got private dryers taking us all across the island, and private chefs cooking for us, and first class flight back home, and like, I get to have all that, but can't have this? All right, it's ridiculous. Absolutely not. It does feel like freedom. Oops, I just waved at someone. I don't know how I did that. This is so helpful. You're the best for sharing. I'm so glad. So that's the real deal. That's the big aha that I had. So let me just make sure I put this in a tangible way that you can walk away with it. If you've been feeling like there's something missing with the vision that you have for yourself in front of you, ask yourself the feeling of how you want to feel. So the first thing I put down was like loneliness. And then I was like, okay, anti-loneliness, because I didn't have a better word for that in the current second. Hi, Leva. So I just put down like anti-loneliness, and then I wrote down 40th birthday, and then I started bawling. And you see, it was just like that simple. And then I just felt incredible shame, incredible embarrassment. I had like this flash of moments in my head of like all the times when I was like with these other people that I felt like I didn't belong, or like I did the weird thing, or like, oh, like, how come you're always just the person doing the weird shit, Mandy? Like, why can't you just be fucking normal? And then I was like full stop to that voice. I'm unavailable for that shit. If I'm going to lead my people, if I'm going to stand for these incredible human beings, not feeling shame for where they're at and what they're experiencing, I got to move that dial back, look at the trajectory of my life, look at like, oh, this all makes perfect sense. Of course, this is where you are. And you know what? Not only that, like, I really fucking honor the younger me. Like that Mandy who put my kids first, that Mandy who stood for something and said, you know what? I stand for this bullshit welfare cycle that people are stuck in, and these bullshit stories from religion and poverty and these rules and these fucking arbitrary bullshit stuff that is stuck on people that gets their brain all twisted, and then they can't expand, they can't be happy, they can't find joy, they can't. And I was determined not to allow my children to grow up in that life, and I did it, and I'm fucking proud of myself. And you think I'm gonna feel shame for 12 seconds that I lost these social skills that I never really had the chance to practice because of all the trauma, and then the fact that I put my heels in the dirt and I fucking showed up and I created all of this and I learned to feel safe and loved and worthy? No, I refuse to feel shame about that. I just simply fucking refuse to feel shame about that. This is what I stand for. So what I'm asking you to do is to drop in, find the feeling inside of your body, just like that feeling that you're yearning for. What is the thing you're yearning for? And if you're projecting that into the future, like maybe like me, the first thing came up was negative, like loneliness, right? Like just like there's this sense of, even though my life is full of people, there's this sense of, and I have romance, but there's this sense of loneliness that was there because I desire deep in-person friendships with women that are in my life day to day, that when I have a birthday party, they're the fucking people invited. Like that's what I'm missing. You know what I mean? So like just tap into what that feeling is, project it to the future. And then if it's something like loneliness or whatever it is, what's the reverse of that? And then what's the thing that you're projecting in the future? Like how would you get, what's the thing that feels like, I don't want to admit that thing because that feels impossible to have. I don't want to admit that I want that. But I don't want to, like, you know what I mean? That thing. And then you fucking say that thing out loud. PM me, message me, comment it below, whatever you want. You look amazing. Thought you were close to my age, 33. No, I'm 39. You can say it to me. You can go in my daily raw group. That's, I mean, such a safe space. That one's only for women. I do have the one that'll be open to everyone, men included, coming up. I just haven't created it yet. But say that damn thing out loud. Like, fuck the story that you have to be ashamed or embarrassed about that anything should be any different. Congratulations for everything that you've done to get yourself right here. And we're not going to stop right here. And all of a sudden, we're not going to like go another 5 years, leaving this thing that we really desire and want in our life, whether it's something that you feel like you can't claim because you don't like the marriage you're in or the relationship you're in, or something you feel like you can't claim because of how you look or your weight or the way you speak, or something that you feel like you can't claim because of your past and your childhood, or something you feel like you can't claim because it's like you're awkward at that thing, or you could never embody the quality that you feel like you must have to have that. All of that. Absolute not to all of that, right? No, absolutely not. So today's work is to tell the damn truth about what you want to feel in the future. The examples that she gave in the training were like, she wanted to sip coffee in Paris, and she just wanted to be sitting in Paris, and she wanted to be sipping a coffee, listening to the trains go by, stuff like that. That one didn't resonate with me at all. But I did want to have a 40th birthday with people there that I love, and we just got to celebrate and have fun, and they thought I was important and special enough that they came all the way to my birthday party to celebrate with me, right? It felt like so impossible. It's already feeling more possible even just talking about it on here. So that's the call to action today. I've gotten a couple questions about, I'm just throwing this in there, shifting gears. The ultimate how-to, this is what it is. Okay. I don't even have the energy to make it anything other than what it is. This is what it is. Okay. I've studied the women these incredible women, like how their companies run. Amanda, Kat, Melanie, all these people around me, Tony's, the Platinum Partnership, like all of these companies, how they run. This is how $1 billion is created. This is how multi-million-dollar companies is created. This is how $8 million is created. I've created the, 1.4 million so far. No, more than that, probably 2 million now. I got to check the numbers. But basically I just studied them, and then I put them down like, oh, it could be like this, or like this. Which one feels better? And I teach you how to decide which one's better. And then I teach you how all of them work. And then you get to pick one. And then you get to actually now have a daily practice that you can implement. And on the side, I give you all the how-tos so that you don't have to wonder, okay, I want to do this, but I don't know how to do it. No, I'm giving you everything so that you're not wasting any more time fretting with that instead of doing the work that we just talked about right before here. Fretting with how do I do this and wasting all your time doing this, and like trying to figure it out. And and then undoing it later, all that mess gets to go. I said to my team, I feel like we've arrived in understanding how the companies work, how this gets to happen, and being able to isolate like each distinct one. And I felt like I had arrived, and I was like, I had this huge exhale, like, we figured it out. Me and my team said that together. And I was like, since I'm so grateful for it, so is everyone else. We're running a program on this. And that's what the ultimate how-to is. You don't need to know anything else. If you're freaking out trying to figure out how to do this company online, organize the whole thing and make it feel like it all flows and your content goes everywhere and you just love how it works. You love how often you have to launch. You know how to launch. It's all organized. You know how to organize your team. All of it feels good for you. If you're feeling like you're trying to figure all that out, then this is the program for you. I'm going to teach you everything that I learned in order for me to feel like I've arrived at how it all flows and goes. And that's what it is. Plus, you have access to the updates forever in there. And there's a 50% off coupon right now. It's still live on the sales page. Once the coupon gets removed from the sales page, and that means it's full and it's no longer available. It's 50% off. September 12th, Jillian. I want to swing on that swing in Bali over the water. They have one at, okay, in Bali. Bali's like my favorite place in the world. I go all the time. So they have this, I forget the name of it. It's a coffee, like a coffee store, but it's a big field. And you go there and it has the monkeys that poop the beans so they can make that kind of coffee. We call it the poop coffee. I don't know the technical term. But they have a big swing at that coffee destination there. And you'll see it's like one of the main ones. I think it was in Ubud, or it's near Ubud, or it could have been. Yep, I think it was near Ubud. It was amazing. It was the biggest swing that I've ever seen. And then after you get to have all the different coffees and they give you like this. Oh, it was amazing there. That's probably, well, no, the water's everything there. The people are my favorite thing there. Oh, come to your birthday, girl. Aw, I love you, Jillian. That was seriously so sweet. Yeah, luwak coffee. Is that how you say it, Tammy? Luwak? It's those finer details that I feel like I have at my life. I've arrived at a new level where, like, that's a perfect example. Yeah. Like, I judged myself so much. Like, why don't I remember the name of that coffee shop? Why don't I remember the name of the animal that poops the coffee? Why don't I remember the name of the kind of coffee? Well, pull the zoom back, look at my life. Like, okay, that makes sense. But I feel like after the energy of my son leaving the house and knowing he's on an amazing trajectory, he's happy, like he's sufficient now, like I feel this space for all the things that I was, just so much space for all this new stuff. This is going to be an intense year. I can already tell. Like, I just feel it. By the way, I am really, really yearning and longing to know how I can serve my community better. I think I'm about to create some epic things that are just massive, massive amounts of value because I get that now. I don't think I really got it before. I was so focused on well, whatever. I'm not going to get into that, but I love that I developed that skill. It's a powerful skill, and my clients have absolutely blown, every client that I've taken through that process has had massive success. But I think there's this whole other way of showing up on the planet that I wasn't giving enough value to. And I'm really curious about that. So if you pop on this Facebook Live, hi, Cara. I would love to hear any ways, if you're being really honest, like in a perfect world, what would be created for you? In a perfect world, what would an offer be for you? In a perfect world, what kind of access would you have? Or what could somebody do for you that would be so valuable, like you can't even believe it? Just like, what comes to mind for you that could be something I could do that would serve you? Because I have time and resource and desire to serve you tremendously. And, I wrote down my ideas this morning and I'm just getting started on the ideas and I can feel the creativity getting stirred up already, but I would love to know, how can I serve you? Honestly, like, don't be afraid to ask for anything because I don't have to give anything to you. You can trust me as able to keep my boundaries strong. I do know how to protect myself. Luwa is the pronunciation for you. Thank you, Tammy. So, how can I serve you? Please let me know in the comments, in the Daily Raw Facebook group for women, on my PM, on my DM, whatever. I would love to know how I can serve you. Okay. I'm going to go back to my journaling. Liba, I would love to party with you in September. That's 2 people already that want to come to my birthday. You guys are going to make me cry. Oh, it's funny, the silly things that we do to ourselves, right? And what if we all just lived in the kind of way we were like, we just said all the things out loud so that there was no mischief that was created, no stupid story. I poured myself a glass of wine. Because actually on my training, my mentor was like, when you cry all the way, have the glass of wine and let the tears all come out. And I laughed. I was like, that is so good. So I actually did allow myself to do that. You know, Tammy, that's part of the story. Like, I think I kept dismissing it because I thought like, oh, we have quarantine and everything. We can't do anything anyway. And any of my friends that would want to come live all over the world, nobody would fly to me anyway. Like, I just had the story, nobody would fly to me. And then it was like the quarantine, so we can't do it anyway. And then I just kept dismissing it. And then when she said that and I felt it, I started bawling like, but I do want to have a birthday. I've never had like an adult birthday party. Even like my 21st birthday, that was 9/11. So it's like I never did. I've just never done it. I guess I've wholly felt unworthy. Help me create and scale my business in a way that gives me financial freedom to be able to explore and learn more about. Okay, so Liba, what I need to know is, what do you feel like? What is the container? What support? What kind of teachings, like specifically, right? Like, so the ideas I've been kicking around is like, maybe in the daily raw, I'll do like a morning Zoom every morning, or maybe a weekly Zoom where like people can input questions and I can live coach people, so you can see me coaching and you can, you know, see the daily, like that, the how, the ultimate how. That's every single how things need to be done. And then what I spend my focus and attention on is things like this, like, what are we gonna stop pretending we want, and what raw hard things can we start asking questions like how can we really be rich and take the time to be fit and feel good and have romance and sensuality and all these things that make us feel like so happy and loved and like I love all these things while there's people starving in the world. Like, how do we put those two together? Like, these really tough questions, and really just facing them, looking at them, scaling at them, and coming back to the place where like, I'm so locked into why I'm doing this that I'm willing to go through all of these hard things. Like, I'm willing to say the hard thing. I'm willing to be vulnerable. I'm willing to screw it up. I'm willing to suck until I do better. I'm willing to keep going through the hard times. I'm willing to celebrate the big times. So I'm expanding them. Like, you know, that's a lot of the work I do with my private clients, is just like having the stamina, having the heart, having the will, having the vision, having the clarity, which is why this was such a big breakthrough for me. Like, whoa, I teach this to my clients, but like, this was a new level. It was just like a new level of me being able to see, unlock. And I guess I can see all along how it kind of felt like that piece was missing. Like, I just wasn't really letting me feel the things. I guess there was a part of me that was still a little bit in the trauma, a little bit in the survival with my son, and just get him through high school and just make sure he's okay. And does he need therapy? And you know, just like, it was just constant medical problems. And he had a lot of, so I'm not going to tell his story, but it was a lot. Seriously, if this damn global pandemic is over, I will be there for your birthday. Oh my God, I love you guys so much. Like, seriously, you have no idea. Let's have a birthday party, Jamie. Everyone wants to fly. Could you imagine a 40th birthday party in Bali? Oh my God, I feel like I'm gonna start bawling. Could you imagine? Oh, that'd be like the most incredible thing ever. My birthday was just in May. Happy birthday! And I spent it working in the hospital. Haven't said... Me too. That's what I always do. I don't ever celebrate my birthday. I've never done it. I didn't have a 30th birthday party, so I feel you on that. I feel like that is just shit. I feel like we just get to have that. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I was at an orphanage in Haiti. Take this for what I'm talking about, okay? Actually, I don't need to say that to my audience. My audience knows better. I feel like I'm always talking to people that's not my people. I don't have to say that to you guys. Okay, so I was at an orphanage in Haiti, and, you know, like, obviously tragic conditions in Haiti for the blind community, for the girls when they turn 16, when they leave the orphanages, they're just on their own. They're not allowed to get adopted after 16. It's a lot of horrific stuff over in Haiti, like corrupt political environment, all that kind of stuff. So, but when I was there, I actually left feeling like the Haitian kids had it better than we did, because they had each other. There was such a tight-knit community, in-person community. I mean, the kids just climbed the tree in the morning and whacked down the mangoes and just like cracked them open and ate with each other. And they were super smart. Like, they were talking about like a college level chemistry, like what I had taken in chemistry, and they were just in grade school, like, you know, 8th grade. I was like, WTF? Super smart. And they all had each other, and they just, every day they were together in person right there. There was just hundreds of them all together. And I sort of left feeling like, yeah, everybody wants to come to America, but America's like the land of isolation. and the land of like, put my head down and do the work, and the land of non-community. You know what I mean? Like, how normal is it for us to not know our neighbors in this country? Some people are better than others at, you know, like some of us are introverts or maybe have social anxiety or whatever the kind of thing is, and it's harder for us. And some people just, they frolic, they know their neighbors. It's not necessarily just an American thing, but in general, our culture is a very isolated culture. It's not like other cultures where there's so much community and togetherness. And some of you are really blessed to have tight families that are healthy and you know, like people that you can do life with, that you feel like you're kind of on the same level, or belief systems or whatever. My family is so like all the way over here. And I mean, I love my family to death. They're so much fun. Anybody that met my family would love them because there's no judgment. They just like anything goes. Like they're so inappropriate and wild, it's not even funny. But there's like all the way over here to all the way over here, from like heavy Jesus freak, like only thing that matters is Jesus and the Bible, to like fuck the Bible and, you know, like we love Trumpness, right? Like it's just, and then everything in between. There's like, you know, like my sister has a tattoo that says love is pain, and I'm like rainbow shooter, like love is everything. It's just like none of us are the same. And then my brother's like the Matthew McConaughey, you know, what's his name? I always forget that guy's name. That meditation guy from Hawaii that passed away, I think last year or the year before. He's like this Dalai Lama, Matthew McConaughey farmer boy. So we just, and I'm like let's take first class and champagne. You know what I mean? Like just none of us are the same. And then my brother Jake is a genius, and he's like he was like the golf pro back where the hometown we grew up. He's still friends with all the kids we grew up with, and he's married to a nurse, and she's like the sweetest girl on the planet. He's got one boy, one girl, a white picket fence, and he's like the golf pro, but he's like, fuck being the golf pro. I just want to like mow the lawns barefoot. Like none of us are the same. We're just so incredibly different. And I have two other brothers that fall in that mix as well. Like some people are blessed to have families that we get together, and it's just like a circus. Honestly, it's like a circus. It doesn't feel like a family where I have people on the same level, except for maybe my one brother. My sister and I have a lot in common, but not in like a move forward or up kind of way, more like a sincerity kind of way, like we survived this together kind of way. So it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is. I long for more community and in-personness and celebrations and friendships and a 40th birthday in Bali with you guys. Hold on, I'm looking at the comments. I was looking up visa switch to Bali yesterday. Actually, it's hard to find out what the laws are when we can fly in. Let me know when you find out, Liba. I don't even know if that's how I say your name. I've only ever read it. I've never heard it in person. I think that's probably how you say it. Oh, I'm so obsessed with Bali. And plus the Diamond Mastermind, I'll be having a retreat there. As soon as this clears up, I'm going to be running a retreat. It's so beautiful. Sometimes I think connection is missing in the US. I 100% feel like connection is missing in the US. I do. You know, like I have this friend Sean who lives out in Maui, and the community out there. So he's always sending me these pictures, and I'm like, ugh. There's like pictures of like everybody's like hugging and laying in each other's laps, and he's in like these heart-centered whateverness. And you know, just this morning he sent me a picture of the, you know, Boys and Girls Club, and in part I know that that's me. It's me. So I see this part of me that's now opening up to like, you know, even when I was on the Platt Summit the other day, this one guy, I can't remember his name, it's something small. It starts with a G and it's 3 letters. But whatever his name was, like, he was really teaching us how to network. And he was talking about, like, at an event, you just go 3, 2, 1, and you walk up to a person, you just start talking to them. And we got to practice, and I was like literally having a heart attack thinking about doing that. Like, I was gonna walk up to someone and just randomly start talking to them. And I was like, but what's so hard about that? Just like anything else, Manny, like when you made this huge financial decision in December, it screwed everything up, and it was like you had this mountain of financial pressure on you. You went like this. That's easy. And you did it, and you believed that, and you felt that, and you have walked it out. It's still, if I actually stop and look at the situation, would probably crap my pants, but I just keep choosing to look at it and go, that's easy, I got this. Why can't you do that about making friends, or having a 40th birthday, or walking up to someone at an event and go 3, 2, 1, and I just walk up to the event and I start networking with them, and I just see how I can serve them, and I just get to know them as a human being. What if I believed that there was enough time for me to connect with human beings that way and be that level of present in person? What if I just got to do that? It didn't have to be like at a retreat that I'm running, because you would never know any of these things about me. Like anybody here, if you've been to a retreat of mine, if you've like come to one of my retreats, you would never know this, because it doesn't feel that way for me there. I feel connectedness. I feel belonging. I feel like I'm present with you. I feel like that's my job. I'm serving. I'm holding space in a container. And you would never in a million years know this about me. only the people in my private personal life that have spent time with me have any idea of the social anxiety that I have, or like the weird quirks about me, or that kind of stuff, or like the lack of friends that I have day to day in my personal life here in Florida. And even back in Rhode Island, it felt like I had friends, and then I sort of outgrew the like drinking all the time and partying and bitching and whatever. And then it was kind of like this empty space that I filled with online entrepreneurs and masterminds that I was in. And I never learned how to do in-person networking or friendship making at the level that I was at. And I never learned how to do it. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's it. Now I'm open to that now. And I'm excited about it. Yeah, Gil, thank you, Liba. I love your honesty. Thank you, Liba. Yeah, that is my gift. And I'm staying true to that, and I'm very proud of myself, and I know I'll be heavily rewarded for walking this out as I do. And I'm very excited about it. Okay, I'm going to go finish journaling. Honestly, I still would love to hear anywhere, and I know that getting clear on that might take a little work on your behalf. I know I'm asking you to do a little bit of work, but I would love to know, in a dream world, what is the offer that I would create for you? What would the price be? What would you get in it? What would I teach you guys? How would I support you and love you? What would be the energy? Would I make you feel safe every day so you can exhale? Would I make you feel strong and clear? Would it be the ahas and breakthroughs about how to do this? Would it be daily interaction? Would we be on a Zoom call? Would you get to have these other incredible human beings? Like, what do you want? How can I serve you? I would love to hear. I'm going to create something, but I just might do and implement some of the things you tell me if you actually are willing to tell me. So if you put it in the comments here, just tag me. If you put it in the Daily Raw, tag me, or you can send it to my PM. I would love to hear, okay? I love you guys very much. Thank you. I feel like this is a memory, like just this Facebook Live being here, sharing this with you guys is going to be a memory I have forever, because I can feel it in my blood and my blood and my bones that it's the beginning of something really epic and beautiful. I can feel it all just kind of unlocking through this last 3 days, and I feel like I'm literally going to remember this Facebook Live forever and ever and ever. And I'm going to remember you guys. And I'm going to remember those of you who were the first people to make me feel like I would have people at my birthday party. And I just wanted to say thank you. Like, seriously, thank you. It means a lot. And I love you to pieces. And I will see you tomorrow. Yeah. And you can watch from the beginning. All right. I love you guys. Have an amazing night. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to drop the link. So the how-to is mandyperry.com/how-to. mandyperry.com/how-to. I just saw a message pop up with somebody asking. Sorry, I forgot. That's good. Love you. I'm camping and just came back for a tent with a few minutes. Left phone here. I'm so happy I got this live. That's so epic, Liba. I'm glad you were here too. Thank you for being part of my memory. All right, I love you guys. Have an amazing night. Enjoy your camping, Liba. All right, bye.